Hello everyone, this is Aayush and welcome back to another story. Today it is storming outside and I think it's the perfect weather for a good story. So let's go ahead. So this story goes back to 2014 when I used to live in Mumbai or Bombay, and it was just yet another normal day. I was going back from my office to my home. At the time I used to live in Worli, used to just share an apartment with a few friends, had a great time with them. And my office used to be in Lower Parel. And if the city layout, actually Worli and Lower Parel are not very far. So what would typically happen is every time I would be going back to my house from my office, all the taxi drivers would just refuse because the distance was very short. And this was pre the era of Ubers and Olas. So I was pretty much always reliant on the black and yellows. And so it was that, the same thing happened that day as well, where I was waiting outside, just hoping somebody would be willing to take me to home. And it was a super hot, extremely humid day. It was one of those October heat days in Mumbai. And I was quite annoyed. Eventually, though, by good fortune, a taxi driver stopped and I was able to get in and he agreed to take me home. So as soon as I entered, the first thing I noticed was that he actually didn't have his hand. His hand was cut off from here, and he was somehow managing to hold on to the gearbox, and with the other hand he was steering. And I thought, okay, hopefully everything was okay. And a few minutes later, he receives a call and he just balances his phone like this and he talks through the phone. And I was sitting behind and I could hear everything. So the conversation went something like this, where he was telling someone, oh no, actually I was in the queue throughout the day, but nothing really happened. I couldn't even eat or drink, hoping something would happen. But, now I don't know what's going to happen. God only knows what we can do now. So he sounded quite distraught. And after he hung up the phone, there was some silence. We were just driving. And then he speaks up again and he says, sir, can you tell me one thing? And I'm like, sure. And he says, do you know if there are only certain kinds of people who are helped at Siddhivinayak? So Siddhivinayak used to be or is the temple in Mumbai, huge temple, very famous. And I asked him, I don't understand your question. And he says, sir, actually what happened is I was in the queue throughout the day at Siddhivinayak. Today is a day when the temple folks actually help the poor, they help folks who are in need. And when my turn came, they refused to help me. They just said no, and you will have to go somewhere else. And I said, look, I have no idea about who the temple serves or doesn't, or what code of conduct or rules they have. And I kept quiet after that. And then after a while, he says, sir, actually, the reason why I went to Siddhivinayak in the first place is because I need some money to pay the school fees of my daughters. So he had two daughters and he said that they were both in their final exam. They were just about to sit for the final exam. And if he was not able to pay the school fees, the school would ask them to repeat the year and they would lose the entire year. So we kept going on and we came to a stop where there was a signal. And after a pause, I hear a sob. And I look up and I see this guy crying quietly. And between those sobs, he told me that, sir, my daughters are the world to me. They are really, really good girls. I really want to help them, but I just am not able to pay the school fees. And then he takes out his wallet and he shows me a picture of the two girls. And he says, I really want to help them. And so I thought to myself and I said, okay, how about how much money do you need? How much is the school fees you need to pay? And he says, I need 3,300 rupees. And I said, okay, how about let me help you? I'll give you the money. And he immediately said, no. I can't accept help from you. I can't just take money from you just like that. It would be haram. And I said, no, you just give me your phone number and The next time I need to go somewhere, I'll just call you, and that way you can just repay me over time. And he says, sir, can you do this for me? And I said, yeah, it seems your need is a lot more at this point, and by God's grace, I do have some money and I can help you out. And he says, sir, I'd like to tell you something. A couple of years back, there were floods in Mumbai, and as I was driving this entire waterlogged road, there was a woman who was crying out for help. Nobody would stop. Everybody was just looking out for themselves. But I ended up helping her and I dropped her home. And today, when you have come to me and you are helping me, I feel like my debt has been repaid and that you are my Farishta, you are my angel. And I was very gratified, and I said, no, it's my pleasure. And I would love to help you. And on we went. So eventually I was dropped at my home and I went to the ATM. I got some cash. And as I was giving it to him, I told him, look, here's actually 5,000 rupees. Take 5,000 instead of the 3,300, because you never know, at the last minute, the school may ask for some more money and you may then need more help. So why don't you take this? And he again refused, and he again started crying, and he told me that today you have really been a Farishta, an angel for me. So we went our way, he went his way, I went mine. And sometime fairly soon after, I actually ended up leaving Mumbai. I left the city. And years have gone by, and it's been a long time. But this story has always remained with me, because I think Mumbai is one of those cities which offers so many stories. Every corner you go, you'll find a new story. But what makes it special is that it always gives you a unique chance to be a Farishta, an angel for someone. Whether it's someone who is in need when it's flooding, or if it's a taxi driver who wants to pay school fees for their kids, or it's just about helping someone who is tired of the Mumbai heat and humidity. So that's the story for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.